can't talk about how it's nice, warm Texas weather. I don't want to hear it. I'm looking at
Oh,
snow and mud.
you know, we're all wearing sandals and t-shirts. Well, actually, it's kind of cool today. It's 60 something,
Oh,
67. Yep.
I'm
What are you
sorry.
eating?
It's what? It's 67.
Yeah.
So I think that's negative 67 points for you then.
Hey, it's only a number, right? What are you eating?
Just soup. I'm just staying warm because it's so freaking cold and I'm not in Texas. Apparently, I need to come hang out with you. It's just
Yes,
broth.
yes, yes. You need to have a workshop other than
That could
Vegas.
be done. Yep.
I'm
Actually,
in.
Texas is on my list this year.
Really?
There's a couple places on my places to shoot list that are Texas bound. So we might have to talk to that after critique.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm
Okay.
excited.
Are you?
I am. You ready?
All right. So same thing as last time. You're gonna pull it up and screen share, and whatever program you want to use to show off the images. I'm gonna be tougher on you this time than I was last time. No pressure. We'll go from there.
Okay, so you're sharing my screen, right?
I'm seeing me.
Oh, wait, I shared the wrong screen. Hang on.
No problem. I'm still seeing me.
Okay. Select a window to start the video call. Full screen
Mm.
hangout. This is the part that I hate. What are you seeing now?
With screen sharing, I'm still seeing me. You're just
Yeah,
selecting the wrong window. That's all. Are you
okay.
trying to share from the level 9 in the Google community?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you're just actually selecting the Hangout window instead of the Google community window.
Oh, hang on a second. My
You know it's an immediate failure if you do this at level 14, right?
well, it could be. Okay. It's not giving me a choice. It's only giving me, for some reason, it's only giving me two choices. Just,
Hmm. Do you already have the window open?
well, I do right now, yeah. But,
The
uh,
the Google community window?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not letting me. Hold on, let me just minimize this.
Let me
Yep.
see if I can help. Okay, so then what we might do is I might go in and find it and screen share my screen, and we'll
Oh,
do it that way if we can't catch up.
maybe it's.
Let me see. Doug Barry's photos. Let me see.
Yeah,
There we go.
it keeps taking me back to that one screen.
Okay, well, let's see if I can do it. Okay, so click over to my screen, and that's your image, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll just do it off my screen then. So same thing. You can tell me a little bit about the image and creating it and what you think.
Okay.
I'm super excited to see some new dancer photos from you.
Um.
And then I'll page it.
Okay. This is one of the images that I shot or presented to the cohort when I was figuring out my images for level 9. Really, the only thing I did with this image is I cleaned it up. Some of the comments were to clean it up, basically. There was a few observations that were made with the runners not exactly center in between the cars. And other than the distractions, it got really good reviews. I actually love this shot, so I did. I cleaned it up. I took away some of the signs. I actually, it was raining that day, but when we actually took this shot, I put the rain in uh, because it had stopped. But other than that, I love the shot. I think some of the things that probably could have done better is on her face. If I would have had a fill flash, maybe to camera left to lighten it up just a tad, because it's a little dark from the umbrella. But other than that, I think it's a good shot. I mean, it represents the style of dance that I'm going for, or at least out in the street. So that's what I think. Are you there? Did I lose you?
Sorry, I forgot I put mine on mute. I'm like sitting and talking to you. I love this. I think it's a really beautiful shot. I love that we added the rain in. I would not have known that you had added the rain in if you hadn't told me that. So well done.
Thank you.
It's a very, very subtle effect, and it makes this image for me. It's much more with the rain than it would have been without. I love her body language. You just do beautiful work at dancers. Um, and that accentuates because they just have beautiful figures and lines
Right.
on their body, and they know how to move them. So you're at a bit of an advantage, but it's still very difficult to capture the right moment in a movement shot, and you do it flawlessly. Um, so I love the styling of it. I love the motion in her hair. I agree. I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more light on her hand that's holding the umbrella and her face, but I also think that you could probably achieve the same thing in post, going in and just digitally dodging and burning a little bit to bring up the light. And it's not killing the image for me. The only thing that is bothering me a little bit is the angle that she has the umbrella at is actually making it look a little distorted because that point is so strong. I would have been, and this is like totally just like a little pet peeve thing, but I would have been inclined to go in and kind of soften that point. It makes it look almost like it's broken compared to the rest of them. And there's like loose signs on the street perfectly across from her hand, and I
Right.
keep wanting to jump to that spot of color. So I'd be inclined to take that out and to take the pull out behind her going up. That's probably like a light post, the gray one going up above the truck on
Hmm.
camera right. But those are the only two things that kind of pop out and grab my attention away from her. I love the shot as a whole, and the motion and the energy is just flawless. So I think it's beautiful. It's a little bit dark on her midsection and lower. I'd like to have seen those shadows pulled out just a little bit, because I feel like it gets really there in the shot. But again, that's nitpicking. Um, and I just love your work. This would definitely make your portfolio for me. So I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you 3 for this. You're just skirting by. It's like in between 3, but I think it crosses the mark into exceptional from what I've seen from you.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Next shot. Oh, I keep
Yeah,
forgetting I'm on it.
Bill.
I'm like,
Yep.
okay, tell me about this one.
Okay. The one of my challenges this year that I set for myself is to expand my ability to use light uh, and to work with off-camera flash. Um, so that's been a big step for me because I've never done that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so with this particular young lady, um, I had her laying on the ground, and I know some things you're going to throw up at me already, but I left it there on purpose. So I had her laying on the ground. I had my light. It was being held, above, and then I took the shot of her, you know, as she was laying down. And a couple of things I think I went back and forth. Well, I don't have a 35 millimeter lens, but I shot this with a 50 millimeter, and we were actually out in the field and shooting around, so I didn't have a ladder with me. So I was actually standing on above her, and I wish I would have had a ladder or some way to get a little bit higher to maybe get a little bit more space to the left and right of her shoulders and then to the hair. But I didn't do that. But it may be just a tad, especially on her right side. Yeah, I think you could use a little bit more room, or excuse me, her left shoulder. That'd be camera right. And then the hair. I went back and forth. You know, as you'll notice, you see some of the grass in her hair. At first, I was going to remove it, and I thought, you know, I kind of like that. And then I didn't like it, and I went back and forth. I ended up leaving it. So that may be a distraction. I didn't know how you felt about that, but you'll see that there's like 3 strands of grass in her hair. And then the flowers, I went back and forth with the flowers too. You know, I'm really trying to get outside the box and just try things that are just not so linear, but more creative. I think after I put the image in for my portfolio review, and I got reviews from the cohort, good reviews, one of the things I really thought afterwards I didn't really like, it kind of started grinding on me, was the how white the photos were. And I lose some of the detail in some of them, and it almost takes away from her face because they're so white compared to her hair, and it kind of pops out. So afterwards, I kind of thought, well, I probably shouldn't have submitted this as a portfolio one, because really, after I really start thinking about it, you know, I'm not going to use this for my portfolio because of that. I think her face is good. I think the way that she's looking into the camera, I like that. So that's my thoughts on it. How about you?
I want to be madly in love with this image. I really, really do. But I'm not. It being a little bit tight on her left shoulder doesn't bother me too much. I love the styling of it in her hair. The flowers are killing this shot for me.
Yeah.
They're too white, and they're the whitest thing in the image, and they're standing out from everything else. I think if they had been actual flowers, or like you could have done like, you know, like a wreath, like garland of flowers, like a crown with darker colors, and it would have fit better and given you the same effect, because her shirt is very peasant hippie shirt. That would have gone well with the grass in her hair. Doesn't bother me, but the white, because they're spread out throughout it, I just don't think works. So those would have been gone for me on set. But I love the lighting on her face. The skin retouching is really lovely. The hand is very delicate. Her mouth's a little bit tight. She looks a little bit nervous in the expression, so I would have liked to have seen her face relax a little bit, and I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more punch of light and a little more contrast in the catch lights in the eyes, just to really make them pop. But I think the way that you laid her out is beautiful, and as a whole, I love the pose and the feeling of it. There's just a couple of things that I think could have changed. So I want to give you a 1 for this one and say that it shows promise, but I do think that you nailed the lighting on her face and overall. So I'm going to give you a 2. I think it's commendable. I don't think that you quite hit it to the point of exceptional, but this is definitely one that I would like to see you go back to and try again, seeing some of the problems, because I do think that you're onto something that could be a really strong image here.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. Tell me about this one.
Well, this is just a dancer. She used to be with the Houston Ballet, and she just basically stood up into the window. And this was after the photo shoot that I had when I did level 4 critique. And so I took some of the comments away, things I made mistakes in, and then I took this shot, tried to make it, you know, some of the comments were keep the symmetry there. So that's really all I did. I mean, I just, set my camera, exposed it, and then shot it. You know, I really tried to capture some light on her face and on her shoulder, just a little bit. I think when the ballet dancers are silhouetted, it's just really a cool image. So that's what I did.
I love the idea of the silhouette in this shot, and that we're seeing a little bit of the light on her cheeks and on the line of her neck and her collarbone a little bit. I would have liked to have seen that carry a little bit more. You can see it just a little bit on the lines of her legs. I think it would have been a little stronger if we had let just a little bit more of the light fall over, so we could have caught a little bit of the texture of the skirt and maybe a little bit in her hair. But the lines of her body are beautiful. Again, same thing. You're working with dancers. If people want to learn posing, that's exactly what I would recommend, is that they go study books, study photographs. Dancers know how to hold a pose, and she's definitely doing it for you. So I honestly can't remember if it was you or not. I want to say that it was, but there was another shot in the doorway similar to this in one of the level 4 critiques quite some time ago, where the same thing, the upper body wants to promote symmetry, and the lower body isn't matching it, so it's throwing off the eye a little bit. I think if we had staggered her hands to just break that parallel feeling of where her hand placement is, that it would have been a little bit stronger. And I'm inclined to turn her hips a little bit more to the front too, so that she's not like her hips almost look like she's facing us, but because of the turn of the legs, there's so little information because it's a silhouette shot, that I think your eye has a hard time registering, what her body language actually is, because we don't have all of that structure. So I would have been inclined to pull her hands down and turn her a little bit more, just to help the eye process what's going on with how she's holding the pose. But I do think it's a really beautiful image. I'd also be inclined to probably liquefy or warp back of her dress so that it comes out a little bit more gentle, like the front of it does, because it just kind of falls off and it looks almost like it was cut. But overall, it's beautiful. I love the starkness of it and the white on black. I think this would make a really, really beautiful wall print. So I'm gonna give you a 2 for this one. I think it's commendable. It would still make your portfolio for me, but I've seen other images from you that I liked more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, tell me about this one.
Okay, part of my portfolio is portraiture, so I'm really trying to work on that, connecting and making, I guess not so much telling a story, but just trying to relay the beauty of the individual, whether it's a male or female, really, but and capture the moment of happiness or wherever I'm trying to capture. So maybe that is the story. But this one, she's actually also a dancer, and we were playing around, and she had this hat, and she just put the hat on, and it just kind of worked. And she's got a cute little smile, and we just took the shot. It was kind of more of an impromptu sort of shot. When I first took the image, I thought, well, at first I didn't know if the elbows would work because the way that they're there in front of her body. But I think with the bulkiness of the sweater, for me anyway, and with the hat and just the kind of overall feeling of the photo, I thought it worked okay. I didn't think it was too intrusive. One of the comments when I presented this to the cohort was, the sweater was a little bit bright compared to the contrast of the wall behind her. It's actually a door. um, and brighter than her face. So I don't know. I toned it down a little bit in Photoshop, um, and that's really about all I did. I mean, other than that,
It's pretty much
so
on the camera.
do
Yeah,
what?
it's it's a beautiful shot. I love it. It's a very, um, very genuine expression, which I'm always looking for, because you have your camera smile and then you have your actual smile.
Right.
And it's really hard for most people to do the second while the camera is pointed at their face, unless you legitimately get them to laugh or smile at something you're doing. A lot of that's about personal connection. The elbows don't necessarily bother me, but my general rule of thumb is that they don't run parallel to the line of the body. They either, the elbows come in towards each other or out, or but you kind of want them a little bit asymmetrical to each other and to the line from the shoulders down to the hips. So, but here I think it works. I think all the elements come together well. Her left arm is a little bit bright, and it's not overexposed. It just seems bright because the rest of the image is
Mm-hmm.
dark. Like, we're still seeing all the texture in it. So from a technical standpoint, it's shot well, but I do feel like it wants to kind of pull you to that side of the image because of how bright it is. And you don't get that from the left. You can see it a little bit along the line of her pinky on that side too, just because that's from, that's where your light's coming from.
Right.
But it doesn't bother me enough that it takes away from the image for me. I love all of the texture in this shot. I love the grain of the door behind her, and I love the knit of the sweater, and I love her hair, and all the texture in her hair with the curls. I think it's really beautiful. Love the catch lights. I would have liked to have seen it pull over just a little bit more into her right eye. I think that would have really made it pop, and I'd be inclined to go in post and just dodge and burn a little bit, just to even them up a little bit, because you're losing it in the shadow. Her expression is really genuine, and this is what I was talking about with Chital, about understanding what lines are age lines and which lines are expression lines. Like, all of the little crow's feet, the little laugh lines at her eyes, those all need to stay, but I'd be inclined to touch up along the inner corner of her eyes, where you're seeing like the beginning of like the bags, and
Right.
just soften them ever so slightly. A lot of times they become accentuated based on where the light is on her face, and that's the case here because she's a young girl. You know, I think because of the lighting source, it's just accentuating and making those lines look a little deeper set than they actually are. So I wouldn't get rid of them, but I would soften them a little bit. Um, but overall, like, the color tone, the texture, everything works really well. Her expression's great. Her connection to the camera is amazing. So I'm going to give you a 3 for this one. I think as far as portraits, because I see a lot of your dancer images, but as far as just portraits, I think this is my favorite I've seen from you so far.
Thank you. It is mine too. Actually, I have others I haven't showed you yet.
Well, that's good. All right,
I've
tell
been
me about
busy.
this one.
Okay. This is actually the same girl. And we had. I showed this in before. We had some of the same. Really, the only thing I did differently between was I corrected some of the floor. It had some distraction there. Some of the critique was, we don't see enough of the right hand. We don't see enough of the right leg. That kind of thing. So really, I mean, that's all I did. I actually had this. Again, it was kind of not an impromptu shot when we saw it, and it was a great angle, and I liked the light coming through. But other than that, that's all I did. Just clean up the floor a little bit.
I love the lighting in this shot and how it accentuates of all the tonality and the muscles in her back and her shoulders. and down the lines of her hand. I love it's beautifully, beautifully black backlit. I would have liked to have turned her just a
Yeah.
little bit so that her hair wasn't overpowering her arm and her leg, and so we could have seen
Uh-huh.
just a little bit of her face. Um, I think as it is coming towards you, that it's just so there's a difference between anonymity and where you start to lose the sense of figure in the person, and we're losing our connection to her as a model. It's almost like abstract art at this point, because the focus is more on the tutu and the elements of design, and it has this almost floral kind of feel to it, where it's like this exotic flower um, that she's coming out of. And I think that the star of the shot and what would have humanized it a little bit more was if we had turned her and made it more about her,
Hmm.
fastening
Hmm.
the ballet slippers. I think that would have been a stronger story. But I like the shot as a whole. So um, I'm gonna give this one a 2. I think it has a lot of merit, and I see where you were going with it, and the lighting on it is beautifully, beautifully done. Um, it's just not forming that connection for me that I need to have for it to really be exceptional. But it's so close. This is one I would like to see you try again, um, and just tweak the pose a little bit just to connect us to her a little more. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
all right. So you can turn off your screen share, and I can turn off my screen share. And we're at level 9. How are you feeling?
Wonderful, actually. You know, you and I have talked, and I guess within the cohort, I move a little bit differently and slower than some of the other guys and gals. So thank you again for your patience. But I'm really loving where I'm at artistically and where I've come from. I went back and read my level 4 or 5 critique, of where I wanted to be in level 9, and I'm right on track. One of my goals was more focused, being more focused in my ability as a photographer, where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do, and that's exactly where I'm at. Between those levels, I've really worked hard on my own and trying to obtain and really change my direction, make sure my focus was more focused. And does that make sense? And
Yes.
so I do feel good. I think that artistically, I am excited because I look back when we first started the cohort, and I look at what the images I loved, and I go, oh my gosh, there's just evidence and proof of how far the Arcanum has really changed my ability to not only to view my work and critique it, but also to be able to shoot it. I find myself on shoots now looking at my camera and going like, what would Jessica do? Or how would this go? It's this composition, then I think about Tom, and being linear and is everything lined up, and, which I'm always challenged at that. And then I think about, being creative in some of the other cohorts and how they are very creative. So, but I am very excited about where I have come from, and I'm excited about going where I'm going in the future. So I've been working really hard on my, not only my artistry, but you kind of mentioned something a while ago about. I think that part of my marketing skills, I think I'm going to go after is not only the portraiture, not only the dance, but also some of the abstract type of dance art. Um, so those 3 areas, I think I am focusing on, and I'm actually doing shots when I do the dancers, and with the mindset of, hey, this may be good to be able to use as a piece of artwork and what have you. So um, I don't
And
know. I've been working on.
that's a really good distinction point too, because shooting, when I say I want the connection to the model, I'm talking from the perspective of the portrait photographer. But you have some really beautiful abstract art kind of shots too, and I actually think that that little bit of detachment and anonymity is a very, very strong suit for creating artwork. You know, it's like, and I've used this analogy before, but you know, you put your house up for sale, the realtor always tells you put everything away that's yours because you want people to come in and be able to visualize themselves in the
Right.
house. Well, it's the same thing, you know, like that last shot that we looked at, because it is so anonymous, it opens up to allow everybody to appreciate it as an art piece, which is
Right.
different than people connecting with the model
Right.
themselves. So I think that those are two very strong things. And if you are able to do that in a session where you can shoot these really beautiful images that, you know, honor the dancers and as people themselves, and then you can create this sort of abstract conceptual take on art, I think that'll be a really, really strong dichotomy for you. I'm excited to see that growing in you because I've been seeing it a lot with what you've been sharing.
Well, thank you, and I'm excited too. And that's one of the results of being involved with the Arcanum. Because of my schedule and my time constraints and me being online and not online and be able to chat and confer, you know, it works better for me when it has worked out that, you know, a lot of times I'm alone looking at critiques and looking at things, and that has spurred my artistry. You know, one of our first contacts that you and I had was about artistry, about opening up that door of artistry. I never viewed myself as an artist. I'm around people who are. Do you need to take that?
No, no.
I'm around people who are artists, and then, you know, my wife said the same thing. She said, well, you know, I think that you're an artist. I'm like, really? You know, and you know, I put the mantra that you just put out the other day on my screen share about being focused. You know, I'm not just wanting to take a picture to take a picture. There are times when I want to do a portrait. There's times when I want to do a dancer and capture a movement. But there's also times when I do want to create. And being involved, looking and seeing is just like stirred within me ideas. Like I have a shoot coming up this weekend with two dancers from the Houston Ballet Academy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have my storyboard is so many shots. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. I won't get them all done. I know that. But the point I'm making with that is that coming from where I was, where I was like, oh gosh, what am I going to do? You know, trying to scratch my head and think of what shots I could have, to where now I have so much just coming out. And that is a direct result of being involved with a group of people that not only are encouraging and forgiving, but also that iron sharpens iron thing. Hey, you know, when you can do what you want to do, you can pursue your passion, pursue your dreams. So that's exactly what I'm doing.
That's
So
good.
it is good. I'm very excited about that. You know, so I redid my website, and I just got that up and running. I started the blog. Did my first blog a couple of days ago, which I'm not a blogger, and so in fact, I told one of the guys in the cohort, I said, so let me get this straight. We have to be photographers, business people. We have to be tech savvy. We have to be writers. So you can take that if you want.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
You can talk. It's okay.
No, no, that's good. Go ahead.
Okay.
He's okay. He's shaking his Valentine's Day bag at me and asking if he can have candy. Oh, the joys of being a mother.
So anyway, so it's good stuff. Good stuff in the way that I'm being focused. I am the challenges that I set for myself. I'm not wavering in my artistry and what I want to do and where I want to go. Or like, for example, like I said about the lights, with the girl that out in the field, I'm determined to have that as another tool in my toolbox as a photographer. So so I am right on target with what I said I wanted to be at level at 5 when I wrote that critique of what my critique was going to be here.
Okay. That's
How
good.
about you?
I'm seeing all kinds of growth, and that's all I'm looking for. You know, part of the beauty of the Arcanum is that you do get to work at your own pace, completely guilt-free. Like, you know, that's it. Like, as long as you are seeing growth and you are seeing the benefit, because you guys are investing time and money. Like, so as long as what you're investing in is less than what you're getting out of it, I'm happy. and I like that it works alongside your schedules and that you guys get to kind of decide, what is the priority. It's meant to assist you and teach you, but really it's just meant to be the foundation for you to build off of to get to where you want to go. So everything that you're saying is exactly what I'm looking for. If it takes you 1 month or 6 months to get there, I don't care as long as we're seeing that growth.
Right.
And I definitely see that in you. Like, I was very, very selective in the people that I invited, that I saw potential for greatness in everyone, and I saw passion, and I saw, work ethic. That's what I'm looking for. But like, Gretchen over in the second cohort, like, she got to level 10 and she posted in the artist atrium, which you'll get an invite to because you're in level 10 now. But she posted and she like apologized that she hadn't been in the thing, but her whole Sphere 1 map was geared towards her getting into gallery shows, and the reason she hasn't been posting is because she's doing her first gallery show. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, so she's been super busy with that, and I was like, well, if all of this is to support and build you the knowledge and the expertise and the ability to be able to accomplish that, and you're accomplishing that, then you're ahead of the curve. Like, it's good. So that's what I'm looking for. And I'm seeing that with you as well. There's a profound difference, not only in the quality of the images you're picking and in what's passing for your best work on your end, but I'm seeing growth in other places because I follow you on social media and stuff like that. So as you're popping up in my newsfeed and I'm seeing things you're sharing that aren't necessarily even coming into the Arcanum, I'm like, that's my guy. He's one of mine. And it makes me really happy. So,
Good.
So now you're done level 9. You're past your foundation spheres, which was really just a way of introducing you to the Google communities and the Arcanum and the way that that's laid out, and letting us get to know each other. Sphere 1 is totally different. And you're going to get an invite in there. And so the next steps are, if you go into the Arcanum itself, they have like a level 11 to 20 guide. Nobody from my cohort's actually chosen to follow that, and I'm leaving it up to you, because you'll see when you go in there, instead of having like in the foundation levels, it's level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and everybody was doing the same thing. When you go into Sphere 1, it doesn't do that. It says Joni and Martin and, Gretchen. It's got everybody's names down. Everybody has a completely customized and personalized Sphere 1 map to branch them off into what they are trying to accomplish, which is very different than what everybody else is trying to accomplish. So you'll see little things in certain levels that sort of echo through certain ones, with people that are focusing on marketing and branding and trying to get their name out now, and people that are focusing on the artistry and the retouching, and but it's completely personalized. So the same way, I'm really excited to hear you say, I paid attention to what I said at level 4, level 5, and I'm exactly where I said I wanted to be at level 9. That's exactly what I want you to do in Sphere 1, is go, here I am, and this is where I want to be, and basically just decide, like, in an ideal scenario, you're with me for another 10 levels. When you step out at level 20 from House Lark, if that was all the time that you were going to put into the Arcanum and that was all the teaching that you were going to get, what is it that you're looking to accomplish? What can I give you in terms of tools and resources and expertise, so that you leave feeling really confident that you can go conquer the world and accomplish everything you want in your artistry? That's the next question.
You want me to answer that now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, I want to be able to, well, where do I start? I think the first thing I want to be able to do is to be able to make sure that my website and everything I present myself to be is accurate, it's inspiring. So I need to learn how to better blog. So I've been reading up on that. So my website and the website, I mean, that's tied into my website, the website and blog. So the website is a big deal. just a little sidebar, it's very challenging well, at least with my schedule, it's challenging to be active in all the social medias. Nowadays in the society, they almost expect you to be on Instagram, expect you to be on Facebook, expect you to have your website and blog, and then Pinterest or maybe 500, pick 500 or whatever it is. All these different sites, that is extremely challenging as an individual to be able to maintain and to be on top of that. So that's a challenge that I need to better come to grips with. Artistically retouching, that is something that I am constantly spending hours and hours and hours focusing on that, trying to hone into my skill. There's a lot of people out there, there's not a lot, but there's people out there that do dancers. Philadelphia, close to you guys, there's some good shooters up there. Vancouver, New York, but they all have their own style, and I am continually trying to develop my skills in my Photoshop and processing to make sure I'm consistent with my style. So that would be the next thing, is being consistent with my editing skills. So that it's just like your images. When they look at your images, I can tell that that's a JLark image by your tones, by the composition. There's no doubt about it. And the same thing for some of the dancers. I mean, and I'm not trying to mimic you or trying to mimic some of the other famous dance photographers. I am working on my own style and on level. So the post processing is another area that I have to work on to develop, so that by the time level 20 comes around, they know that, just like I can pick out a Jordan Matter photo, I don't even have to tell, I know his style. I know he's very consistent in his style, whether it's, and same thing for you. So that's my other goals. My website, my processing, those are the two biggest keys. Marketing and business, we've talked about that before, that I am very fortunate and very blessed that I do not have to rely on my artistry to be my source of income, which, oh my gosh, it's such a blessing to be able to have that, to be able to take the time and if I'm in a spot artistically, like whatever it may be, then I can take the time and work through it and spend time and elaborate there and just dwell in there and really do whatever I need to do instead of just running through. And that has been mirrored in my time with the Arcanum. I am the turtle in the hair race. I'm the turtle. I take my time. I look at things. I think about things. I evaluate. That also mirrors in my life. I do the same thing. And so I find that in my artistry, I do the same thing. It took me forever. I've been going over and over and over about my website and all these other things, so I move slow. But once I decide to move, then I move. So, so the business side of it, this is where I'm going with that. The business side of it is a challenge because I have not given any focus to the business side. How do I bring in clients? How do I get to the point to where, as every photographer says, well, they call me, they want me to shoot. I'm getting there. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
Well, let's circle back around to that momentarily, because you just said that you're really lucky that you don't have to worry about that as far as needing the income. But what is the ideal scenario for you in business? Do you want this to be your only thing? Okay.
2016, I will actually retire from my full-time job in the fire department. My wife and I, we still have our own business that we'll continue to run. But my idea thing, if we're talking about my photography and how I'd want this to develop out, and we're talking financially, I firmly believe in giving to people and giving back into community. Being the type of photographer that if a ballerina came to me and said, hey, you know what, I knew of a situation where someone needed a headshot or someone needed a dance photo for audition or whatever, you know what, I would do it in a heartbeat, free. This is my gift to you. you in turn, take it and use it. But on the other side of that, I also want, there's a lot of people who have money, and my artistry does mean something to me. As you know, and we all know, we put a lot of time and effort into learning and developing and honing our skills. And you know what, when I first got into this, I thought, oh, what's the big deal? If somebody just wants my photograph, that's great. Whatever, I'm just happy. Well, I am happy about that too. But I have started to see the value of my work. And you
Hmm.
know what? That does mean something. And that's the most important key. I see the value of it. I'm not doing my work for you. I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it because it's my passion. And that goes with the mantra of what you said. I just don't want to take a photo. I want to take a photo that means something. It's a piece of art. However that art is defined, but with that means that I develop my skills, but I value my art, and so yeah, I would love to have have dancers calling me, and you know what, when we look at the statistics of how much, and I know I'm talking a lot, when we look at the
No, no,
statistics
go ahead.
how much these photographers make annually a year, you're looking at $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Okay, maybe the good end, some of them are making $100,000.
Some of
Well, you
them
know
are
what,
making 500,000, and
they
some of
are.
them are, it just depends on who you're observing. But um, what's if you okay? So you're retiring in 2016. So you're obviously going to put that time in. So a lot of the reason that people want to make this their career is, one, so that they can make their side thing their main thing and they can do what they love all day long, which is admirable. And the other side of that is that when people are willing to part with money that they have worked hard to earn, it's another validation that your art is worth something. So there's a difference between marketing and business. Getting people in the door and getting your name known, that is totally different than getting people to pay you. They're two. I mean, they usually
It
coincide, but
is.
those are two different things. So where is your priority right now? Because you have
Well,
your career for the next year, and you and your wife run a business, and you're doing the photography thing. So what's the level of priority with those three?
to get my name out. That's my priority, because I
Okay.
figure I'm open for input. My thinking is um, kind of tags on with what you said. If people see the value, if it touches their heart, if it moves them enough, well, they will want that. I don't care what
Hmm.
it is. I mean, if it's clothes, if it's cars, land, whatever it may be, they're going to put their money in what they see value in. Not everybody's going to appreciate my art and my dance or portrait, and I totally get that, and I'm cool with that. But I know that there's people out there that once they see my work and I get to that level, they will say, just like for you, gosh, I want him to shoot him, and you know what? I'm going to pay him to shoot me. So I, my priority is to get my name out. This is what I'm doing, because um, my expectations of myself artistically are way up here, and I'm still down here. I'm gaining ground, but I'm not here where I want to be. So, but in the meantime, I get my name out, and people go, you know what? In Houston, there's a guy that, hey, let me hook you up with him because he can do some good photos. And in the meantime, I am continuing to work on my artistry where it gets better and better and better. Till at one point, I'm going to have somebody contact me and go, you know what? I want you to photograph me, like I said earlier, and how much does it cost? And I'm going, oh, well, let me tell you how much it's going to cost. So that goes back to my website. I'm very critical about. I have been, and I am. I'll continue to update my website to make sure it's on target, has my latest stuff, my best stuff. I'm doing behind the scenes video. I've got that coming in and that's going to be a part of my website, to be able to, for the dancers to come in and see that behind the scenes, and it's oh my gosh, it's going to be a really cool thing. But the point is that I know, for me, I'm not a clean photographer, whereas I want my images to be pristine, clean, and in a sterile environment. I'm very much about artistry, about bringing in a style of my own, and it's not so much with flash and lights and all this stuff. It's more natural light and ambient light. So if my story is consistent with my shots and my composition and my processing, then that brings my artistry together and makes a good package to present to whoever may want my art. So website design, post-processing, and then marketing. My priority is then, like I said, to get my name out.
Okay. So,
Let me tell you what I've done so far.
Go ahead.
Okay. So one of the things that I've done is that we have a local art community that I got involved with, and to be involved with other artists, not only just photographers but painters and what have you. I'm looking at being involved with and this is from a professional point of view, but in the photographers here in the Houston area, they have a professional guild that's relatively cheap, but to get my name out among my peers. So those are two things that I'm doing as far as relationship building among my peers to continue to get that out. So you were going to say, what else were you going to say?
Well, actually, I was going to ask you if you had to choose between the two as far as just your artistry is concerned. If you could be wildly famous or wildly wealthy as a result of your art, which would you pick?
Famous.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You know what?
That's what I thought.
Let me tell you, we have a very great lifestyle.
Yep.
So
that's
and so that is the blessing of where I'm at. I honestly, and I'm being very honest with you, money is not everything. And you asked me two choices. Really, being famous is not the big issue here. Being known as an artist is. So fame as an artist and a good photographer, yeah, that's what I want to be known for.
Okay. So I see two different ways that we can build your next sphere. So, because we're starting in, you have a year left. So I feel like, in regards to your lifestyle and you feeling like you have a very good and very comfortable lifestyle, if you retired next year and never made $1 off of your photography, but you had your business that you also run with your wife, would that greatly inhibit your current lifestyle?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So
No.
I would suggest then that probably the best thing to do would be for your next sphere to actually build around the artistry and around the marketing. And here's my thing is that there's a lot of people that are very, very concerned with getting well known. And getting their name out and having the followers and having the likes and having the people, and they're not focusing enough of their attention and their energy on creating art that's worthy of being well known for. So what I would like to do is, I love that you're doing the behind the scenes video. I think that will be a great feature to start building following and having people out. And people like feeling connected to the artist. When you are moved by something somebody else creates, you want to know who created it because you feel a sense of, of connection to that person, and that can be really strong. So I love the idea of you having a little bit more behind the scenes where people sort of get to know you a little bit, as well as just, the beautiful imagery that you create. So I would like to build your sphere 1 around continuing to grow your artistry, because I've seen an improvement and I would like to see that improve more, and delving a little bit deeper into other artists that move you and that have that consistent style that you were talking about, like you were saying earlier, certain artists you look at, it's their image before you see their name. So we want to start building that for you, but I'm with you that you don't want to copy anyone. Understanding what resonates with you and why can be really, really big helps in starting to develop your own style when you start understanding why it is that certain things speak to you. So we'd probably do a little bit of research into that, and then working on the photography itself and continuing to improve the imagery so that they're counterbalancing each other. Then as we're
Hmm.
marketing, it's being, validated by the fact that your artistry is really good. So not only is your name coming in front of them, but they want your name in front of them because they're going, oh yeah, I want to know who that guy is that's creating these,
Right.
these epic shots. And on the other side, as you're creating this beautiful imagery, we're putting it out in front of people so that the people that should be seeing it are seeing it, so that we can start to grow your base. Um, so that's what I'd like to focus on. And then I think actually when we get to level 20, if we've accomplished, the notoriety that we're looking for and the consistency and the style and, a good social media and blog campaign that you can keep up with, that you don't find daunting or tiring, or boring,
Yeah.
then we can move to sphere 2 being about the business aspect and then building the finances around that. Because if that's not a priority for you, there's no reason to make it the priority for you right now when other
Right.
things are obviously lighting more fire within you, you
Right.
know?
Right.
Um, so it
No.
doesn't have to be either or. It can be fame and fortune, but if given the two, you resonate more toward, and it's not about fame, it's about notoriety. Both of those create the validation that your artwork is worthy. If you have 500,000 people following you going, oh my God, I love your images, those likes and that interaction is also people validating because they're giving you something that, in my opinion, is more important than money. They're giving you time, which is finite and
Right.
constantly expending, and we don't get any more of it. You can always make
Right.
more money. You don't get more time. So when people are spending time and energy on your images, that's a really strong compliment too. The problem is that a lot of people get focused on that while they're trying to make this their main career and their sole income, and you can't go buy groceries with the 500 likes sitting there now, you know?
No, you're
Um,
right.
so, but since that's not an issue for you, I would focus on your portfolio and building some of these things to get you in front of more people. And here's the amazing, juxtaposition of the whole thing is that when you have the ability to be more leisurely with that and to not focus on the finance, and we build your following, then by nature, the bigger your following is, just in a sheer numbers game, even if only 1 out of 100 people are buying from you, if we spend 6 months building your following and now you have 10,000 people following you,
Right.
then just that number, even if it doesn't go up,
Right.
you have more people that are buying from you. And as you're
Right.
continuing to focus on the artistry, that's improving, so it's attracting more people, so your percentage is going up and your following base is higher. So you're just, when you do get to the point that you want to go, okay, I want to charge and I really want to build my business around it, then you have this much wider base to pull from, which I think would be ideal for you. What do
So
you?
no, I'm right there with you, and let me just tell you, a lot of this comes from being a part of following you. I think our coming together in Arcanum, it was, for me, it was monumental because the way I connect is exactly the way that you and I connect. You see all the different aspects of the diamonds of the artistry, our business, our marketing, and you're able to hone in to whatever our skills or whatever our level is and whatever our desires are and our focus, and nudge us along. And that's unique. I think some people don't have that ability to look and be a big picture kind of person and to be able to also look at the small details like that. So I appreciate that about you and how that you and I fit together. And so kudos to you, because, you know, regardless of however things work out and how life, you encourage us all to put our best foot forward and remind us that it's about our artistry, remind us why are we here, whether it's making great pictures, touching somebody, reaching out, and there's more involved with just, and that's the story. That's the whole big picture, and I love that about you because that's the way I live my life. You know, I would. It's not important to me that I have 500 people that like my photos and that on Facebook, and none of them really know who I am. What's important to me is that they genuinely. I'd rather have 30 people that love my photos
Mm-hmm.
than 1,000 people that go, oh, I like your photo. Well, you know what? That doesn't mean anything to me. And that's across the board. That's the way you are. And
Yeah.
that's, yeah,
Yeah, it's potency, you know.
right,
10 people that really love you will push you further than 100 people that like you. You know,
right.
you have your diehard fans,
Yeah,
and I can pull them right out of the top of my head. Like, I know who my advocates are and the people that are always pushing other people to me because they love my art. It moves them, it connects with them, you know. And
right,
then there's other people that like it that if somebody asks them, you know, maybe they'll recommend me and go, oh, well, you probably want to check out this person as a result. But my advocates, like, they are constantly sharing everything, and they are responsible for most of my following. So I think when you understand that and start worrying about quality rather than quantity, you start building a stronger
yes,
niche, you know,
I do.
um,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
think is really good. But you know, part of I think the difference between teaching and mentoring is that with teaching, a lot of times when you're in class, there's a defined destination that you're getting to, which can be very beneficial. Like, you can go take a class on how to master Photoshop or how to master posing, and it's the teacher setting up and going, this is where we're going. And if that's
right,
where you're trying to go, it's almost like hitchhiking, you know, like,
right,
this is where I'm going. If you're going there too, then come along with me, and that's
right.
great. Whereas instead of being the map with the destination, as Masters in the Arcanum, I think what we're all trying to do is basically just be the compass and point north so that you can plot your own course, and we can just help you get to where it is you want to go. So you're in the lead and you're holding the reins. Um, and I think that people like you, it really resonates with because you know where you're going, you know,
Right.
and you know your potential and you know what you want, and you just need, you know, really, you don't even need someone to really teach you. It's not that you need information, you just need someone to kind of elbow you to implement it a little bit and give you that little push that says, yeah, everything that you think about yourself and all the ability that you have, you know, that we're taught to make ourselves smaller, it's okay for you to go ahead and shine, and it's okay for everybody to know how incredible of an artist you are and how much potential you have and how much talent and ability and just how bright you actually shine, because we just get it beat into us from such a young age that if we're confident or if we say, yes, there's something exceptional or different about me or something that I do that not everybody else can do, that it comes off
Right.
as ego or, you know, conceited, and it's not. There's a profound difference between well-earned confidence from the hours, I mean, really at this point, the months that you have spent in the Arcanum beating
Right.
on your craft and completing these tasks in order to perfect what you're doing and to accentuate that talent with skill, you know, that absolutely deserves to be applauded and commended. And you do deserve to be noted for it, and you do deserve to be paid for it, and you do deserve to have other people note how worthy you are. And that's the difference between being well known and being worthy of known. You know, you right now are building the foundation of an empire that is worthy of being known.
Well, that resonates with me, and thank you. And yes, that's exactly right. I mean, and that's why I love you.
Okay, so you are now at level 9, so you're going to get an invitation to join Sphere 1 with us, and you can go in and look around. Your next step in order to pass level 10 is to write me a review of your experience in the Arcanum so far, what you loved, what you didn't love, what makes me your favorite person, what makes you, like, hold your head in your hands when you hear my name, you know, the whole 9 yards. And then
Yeah.
to also write a beginner's list of where you're going from here to level 20, what the ideal scenario is for you. You know, if I can wave my little magic fairy wand and get you exactly what you're after, what does that look like for you? And then it takes about 3 to 5 days usually, and I sit down, I go through all your other critiques and everything you've done so far, and I spend a lot of the energy on this letter that you're going to write me, and then you get a totally customized Sphere 1 map that is just for you.
Well, that's wonderful. I already have the first part of that done. I snuck in there and wrote my letter. Now, I didn't
Okay,
have the
great.
beginner. I don't have the beginner's list. I'll have to do that. So, and that will happen this weekend. I'll have that
Okay,
for you.
great.
Uh,
And
Okay.
then when you get into Sphere 1, the first thing that you want to do is go head over to the wishing well and see what everybody's doing over there, and then you can start on that. That's your first assignment. It'll be
Okay.
super fun. And then were there any other questions or things that you wanted to address?
My points.
Okay.
Will my points carry over?
I don't know if
So
we're letting people do that or not. I think
okay.
so.
Well, so then if I don't level up, then I can use my points, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if I can't use my points, do I need to give them to somebody? Like donate them?
You can absolutely donate them down, especially since we have new people at the beginning of the cohort. That's a great thing. I'm pretty sure I have to double check now because I'm actually not sure what we decided. So I know that Nicole made a Sphere 1 point chart, but I can't remember if everybody got rid of them or not. So you can go in and ask them. I'll add you into the Sphere 1 chat. But yes, you
Okay.
can absolutely donate them at any time. People have been giving points back and forth to each other when they're being super awesome and helping each other out, which I fully support.
Okay.
In the interim, while you're writing your review and your wish list, what were you thinking of spending your points in? You can't actually spend your points until you get to Sphere 1, though.
Well, you're pretty challenged right now. I mean, your time is really structured. And really, I would love to sit and just chat, but that's not me. I'm not a chatty. I mean, that's not true. I am a chatty guy. I'll talk your ear off if I have the opportunity. But um, I, I'm good. I mean, I have the points and I haven't used them, so if I can carry them over, I will. Because at some
Okay.
point, I know that I would love to be able to pick your brain about other like small things and things that are out here. Right now, we're focusing on other ideas. But if not, then yeah, I'm gonna donate them down to somebody else, and that we'll see how
Cool.
many points they need.
Well, since you're feeling super generous, I am as well, and I will allow you to carry yours to Sphere 1 with you.
Oh,
So you can definitely take them up with you, and we'll definitely set aside some time. Any time that we're doing a critique day, you can reserve one of those time slots, even if you don't have
okay.
if you don't have a critique, whatever level you're at,
Hmm.
you can reserve an hour, and it's just 60 points. So you can pick whatever time slot works the same way that you pick it for critiques.
Okay.
It's fine. Those are my days where you guys are my top priority, and I set everything
Okay.
else aside. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, love it. It's
All
great
right.
stuff.
How are you
Okay.
feeling going into Sphere 1? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, I'm excited about the challenge. I'm excited about how you're going to tear me and shred me. Oh my gosh, yeah. And I'm going to come out a
We will
diamond.
make you bigger and stronger.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Uh, I
Good.
have to admit, I'll be honest with you. I was talking to someone here in the Houston area, and I said, "Well, I'm working with somebody, and I was telling them about you." And they're like, "Really? You're working with Jessica Lark?" Yeah, yeah. I'm being mentored with her in the Arcanum. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. I
Oh,
was like,
that's so cute.
I was like, wow. It really made me feel good, you know.
Good.
And so,
And you could be like, yeah, there were thousands of apprentices in, and I was one of the 20 that she picked because I'm so awesome.
exactly, exactly. I did say that actually. So I didn't want to, but yes. So it really made me. You know what? It was just a warm feeling. It was. Um, it was fun. So
That's awesome. That makes me feel good too.
yeah.
Tell them I said
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
All
So
right,
we're done.
well, welcome to Sphere 1. You are
Thank
done.
you.
You passed with flying colors. Good. I'm looking forward to doing it again at level 14.
Good. All right. All right. Well, we're done. All right. Bye.